Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now, today's first story is from Scared of Love, but within the story there's a reply from one of the friends that's in the story as well. This story is titled, Am I the Arsehole for Asking My Friends What Flavour Their Wedding Cake Is? A story about cake, you know that gets me excited. I, 22 female, am in the wedding party of my friends we will call M, 25 female, and Ro, 25 male, who will be getting married in about 2 months. I've been really excited for the wedding since it'd be an opportunity for all the friends from college to get together for the first time in 2 years. Not to mention, M and Ro are my best friends, or at least I thought they were. We have a Discord for all the wedding stuff and they have a channel about food. They've been really good about being open about the food they intend to have at the reception, including vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free options for everyone, and answering questions, so I didn't think there would be any contention if I asked a question. Anyway, about 4 days ago, I posted a message into Discord asking, hey, what flavour is the cake gonna be? I want to mentally prepare myself. Lol. I think looking back, my choice of extra words is what caused all this. But I meant it in the sense that I have a long documented dislike of chocolate flavoured foods like cake or ice cream. So I added it in the event the cake was chocolate. I received a private message back that the cake would be chocolate, and if I had a problem with it, then I could shove it, because it was their wedding, not mine. And I felt really taken aback by this response. Never did I mention that I would have been upset, and I certainly wouldn't have put up a stink about it. It's exactly like M has said. It's their wedding. I explained as much and tried to apologize for any offending I did, but she got even more defensive and started basically blasting me for implying that she was offended. I was just left overall very confused. I gave it 2 days before I tried apologizing again and smoothed it over, figuring she may have just been having a bad day. But I got shut down again, telling me she didn't need my apology because nothing was wrong and I needed time. Stop trying to make it seem like shit was wrong between us and to just drop it. I text Ro to see if I could gauge what was wrong, since he and I have always had an open dialogue about things like this, but he basically just told me he couldn't talk to me right now, and I have to imagine it's because M told him not to. It's been 2 days since then and I'm just really confused. This whole thing has made me want to drop out of the wedding party and honestly not go at all. I wish Ro would talk to me and M would be honest. I can't help but think maybe I just don't get how stressful planning a wedding is, and like maybe they've gotten pushback from other people on other things, and somehow it's being taken out on me. Or is it really a big no-no to ask stuff like this? I don't know. This is the first wedding I'll ever gone to, so am I the arsehole? So we're not going to read any of the comments just yet because that's where basically the update comes in. It kicks off in the comments, it gets real juicy. But I would just say my piece for now, and without considering the fact that I know something's going to happen in the comments, I don't know exactly what's said at the moment, but I kind of feel like because of that and the way the story read, you know, that there's missing info to this as well, there's more going on in the background. I mean, I never understand why people post their stories and they don't give the full information, because why wouldn't you? Because you're just lying for your own benefit then. But I found the comment itself really weird at the same time as well, that you need to mentally prepare yourself to eat someone else's wedding cake. I think if someone told me that, I'd be telling me, yeah, well, don't fucking eat it then. So in the comments, Ro appears and said, hey Izzy, not surprised you didn't share the whole story. You never do. Just like last year's surprise party. TLDR, Izzy here spoiled the surprise and tried to claim my present was hers. I'm Ro, the groom to be. I don't do Reddit, but my best man does and frequents this thread. He saw this post and it was so obvious it's you. The whole cake thing did happen, but it's not the whole story, and did not go the way Izzy claims. First off, cake was not her only complaint. You refused to have a joint bachelor/bachelorette dinner because I have poor taste. You said my soup was tacky because I wanted white and not traditional black. You whined about the bridesmaids' dresses being purple because you wanted ivory. Any decision we've made, there's always a complaint. and M has done nothing but be patient and try and find common ground. She should not have to change her wedding choices for you. Second, we never told you to shove it. M only messaged you privately because she was tired of having to argue in the group chat. Everyone else is tired of your bullshit too, so we didn't want to bother them with it. It's a cake. Eat it or don't. You have hated me ever since I joined the friend group, and that's fine, but you will not ruin M's day because of your pettiness. If you care about her, then honor her decisions. Of course, M is different because she grew the fuck up. All of us did except you. My god, you're fucking 22. Stop acting like a spoiled teenager. Chocolate cake will not kill you. By the way, arsehole, I'm 26, not 25. Pay attention. I wasn't angry about this until you decided to go to the internet for pity. It's pathetic and immature. For the record, M double-checked my response. She signed off on it. Get it together. The OP responded to this. They said, it's pathetic and immature to anonymously post asking for advice on Reddit. But you coming here starting shit and posting my real name isn't. Okay, Marcus, since we're not hiding anymore, how does it feel to have your shit aired for real? Here's how I know M didn't sign off, because she never would have agreed to using my real name. You're just trying to get me upset at her too. She's my best friend, and I should have known you'd do this. You always tried to manipulate us into being mad at each other. Case in point, when I had planned this really awesome dinner for just her and I, and you had to plan her a surprise party for the same day. I just wanted alone time with my best friend, but you couldn't wait one day for the party. M has known me far longer than you, and no offense, I'm sure I know her better than you do. But I kept my mouth shut because I love her and just want her to be happy. I complain about everything. Then how come I've never said anything about the hundreds of times you've made M cancel plans with me to go hang out with you? I just wanted my BFF to spend a little time with me. We're not allowed to have sleepovers anymore because it makes you uncomfy, or take a girls trip for the weekend because too expensive. Sorry you can't take care of her like I can. Some of us can afford rent. Clearly this was never about the cake, and more so about you hating me. I was fine when you joined the friend group, but you clearly weren't fine with mine and M's relationship. You've been the same towards some of her other friends, who I'm sure would agree. Get a life, Marcus, and stop trying to take mine. So Ro comes back in, or Marcus, and says, she was fine using your name. You brought this to the internet, not us. If you didn't want this attention, don't post. The plan was for you to distract her while we set up the party by taking her to a movie. Not going to the movies, then taking her to dinner and telling her of the party. We waited hours expecting you all to be back. I've never once made him cancel. She always did that on her own, and not frequently at all. You've had plenty of time alone with her. Just because she spends time with me too doesn't mean I'm forcing her to. And yes, a trip to multiple countries across Europe is very much too expensive. We already live paycheck to paycheck, which you know. I know money isn't a concern for you, but it very much is for us. Not all of us have apartments paid for by dad. Nobody else seems to think the same things about me, and if I'm wrong, I will gladly listen and change, but that requires communication directly, not anonymous Reddit posts. You may have known her longer, but you clearly don't know M well. You fail to see how miserable your comments and attitude have made her these past few months. For her sake, knock it off. The OP comes back into it and says, paid by daddy. Real mature arsehole. You know I work hard like everyone else. It's not my fault my parents made better decisions than yours and can actually help their kids. And of course, I wasn't just going to take her to the movies on her birthday. A ruse or not, it was still her birthday and she's my friend and I love her and wanted her to have an actual decent meal other than the shitty pizza you bought for her. Also, yeah, maybe you didn't tell M to cancel, but knowingly asking for the plans we had then is basically the same thing. Before you, she was fine. She had everything she needed. And for all the comments saying, I have a crush or want to fuck M, you're delusional and you know nothing about me. We're best friends. I love her. She loves me. Not my fault that we have a natural chemistry that everyone over the internet can feel, but it's not like that. Marcus, you're an arsehole. You've been an arsehole since day one. Just admit you're not the guy who can give her what she needs and move the fuck on and leave us alone. So people were curious, obviously, down in the comments below. The commenter said, hey, scared of love, which is the OP, did you really make a fuss because you wanted the bridesmaid's dress to be ivory instead of purple? They also ask Ro or Marcus a question and says, did you really make your fiance cancel sleepovers because it made you uncomfortable? Ro or Marcus says, no, I never made M cancel anything. I'm fine with her having sleepovers. Izzy wanted to do it at our apartment and kept begging M to have me sleep on the couch so I wouldn't ruin girls' night. For the record, M shut it down, not me. She's capable of making her own decisions. I trust her to set her boundaries. If I came off as uncomfortable, Izzy never mentioned it till now. The commenter says, does M even still want Izzy there? Because Izzy's sounding more and more unhinged. How did she try to steal your birthday present to Izzy? Marcus replies saying, M still wants Izzy there. They've been friends for years. I won't make her kick her out, but I'm starting to reach a point where I want it. And no, she didn't steal it. She claimed she purchased the gift because I was too poor to afford it. It was a rather expensive purse M eyed once while shopping but couldn't get at the time, so I saved for it. And a final comment from Marcus who says, you're proving my point. I'm not going to argue over Reddit anymore over this, especially if you're going to talk about my parents like that when you know full well why they aren't rich. Either message us in private or drop it altogether. If this is how you really feel, don't bother coming to the wedding. And obviously, there's always people that's skeptical about these kind of posts when there's back and forth between people in the comments, but I've got to say I'm for it. And I got to agree with that comment where it said the OP sounds like they're becoming more and more unhinged with their comments. You know, they're getting married and she's saying, why don't you just move on and leave us the fuck alone? Like, he's just going, all right then. And talking about their connection and all this kind of stuff. But Marcus or Ro said that M still wants Izzy there because they've been friends for years. If someone's been talking about you in this way in this post, why would you want this person at your wedding as well? It just sounds like you're inviting drama into your wedding there. It sounds like such a bad idea. But what do you guys make of this situation? What do you make of it? What would you do if you was in their position? Would you still, just carry on as normal with your wedding or not? And this all started with cake. I love cake. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. So our next story does have an update as well. It's from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit. I saw in the title Neighbours and I was like, hell yeah, I'm in there. It's titled, Am I the Arsehole Because I Told My Neighbour's Kid to Fuck Off. I live on the top floor of a house. It's a 1-bedroom and my boyfriend and I chop and change at where we decide to stay for some weekends. He has a 7-year-old daughter, but she doesn't stay at mine because of the size. And the solid fact that we're not related, unless it's an emergency and she has nowhere else to go. She's visited. We've been together for 4 years. Downstairs is an unassuming family. A father, police officer, a mother, profession unknown, and a toddler. They're fairly quiet and utilize the space at the back for the child to run and play while I typically use and maintain the front yard. I'm not a child person and had refused their ask to babysit, but do say hello to the adults when I see them. I wave to the child too. The toddler is inquisitive. He tries to open my packages despite my saying how deeply inappropriate I find it. Just bring it in, put it by the stairs and tell the kid to leave it alone. And most recently, he has left some tacky toys on the stairs and there hasn't been cleanup. I've asked the parents to make their child tidy up because if I fall, my insurance won't be the ones paying. I have a joint condition and injure easily, so I don't need the extra worry of some idiotic toy cars everywhere. The child also has been constantly asking to go into my apartment to his mother, and she says, oh, my sweet baby, we can ask. I've said no. I don't like children. I don't want one in my space, running their sticky hands over my things. I don't believe I owe them an explanation as to why I don't want their child stinking my place up. I don't believe I'm a teaching moment for their kid to learn boundaries and how he isn't entitled to go wherever he wants to. I shouted at him. Not only did he try to open yet another package, this one was a care package from my sister as I live abroad. And she screeched and cried, mine, mine, to which I turned and said, no, it isn't yours, it is mine. Go away and find your parents, before trying to ignore this pathetic tantrum and went inside, only to be followed, with him trying to hit and bite. I turned around and said, fuck off you annoying little brat, cry to someone who gives a fuck. I then tripped on one of his stupid little toy cars and dislocated my knee. The toy was destroyed as it became dented and scratched because I stepped on it. Of course, the parents were horrified, but I have, thus far, refused to engage. I've also had my packages rerouted to my boyfriend's, but he lives on LI, and I live in Queens, so it's inconvenient. I called the landlord, who reminded them that opening of mail not addressed to them is a felony. I'm sick and tired of parents who think their bratty children are entitled to go wherever they want, do whatever they want, and touch whatever they want, with their pinworm-infested hands. Just want to know for my insanity though. Am I the arsehole? Edit. I wish I hadn't shouted at this child, but my limit of asking the stairs to be clear, my packages to be left alone, and my right to space respected were constantly violated. I don't want to be bitten and hit by a toddler because he can't get his own way. I also said I wasn't a kid person, not that I hated them. Not particularly enjoying the company of toddlers doesn't mean my boyfriend picked an absolute monster. A 7-year-old isn't a toddler. She has some respect for my space and isn't a brat. Edit. I may have asked for judgment on the situation, but I didn't ask for judgment on my relationship. Jiggle your titties and flap those concerned vagina lips elsewhere. The only person able to pass judgment on that is my boyfriend. Womp womp, ladies. Library Mouse says, why haven't you thrown away the toys left on the stairs or floor for you to injure yourself on, or purposely and carefully stepped on the toys to break them? He would learn eventually. And everyone open packages should be reported as theft. OP says, I wanted to be as empathetic as possible, even if I'm not fond of toddlers. I get that they need reminders, but I don't want to be a teaching moment. It's not my responsibility. I've shoved this shit to the side or right outside their door. If it continues, I'll be binning them. Eucalyptus says, father of 3 here. I totally understand you. Parents nowadays seem to always pick the easy way, not realizing that it leads to way more work and stress down the road. Also, it's frustrating for parents who do set limits, dealing with questions like, why are all the other kids allowed to run around with sticks near random people's cars and we are not? So unfair. Not the arsehole. One more comment which says, not the arsehole. I don't like children either, but I can be cordial around them. However, having to deal with that level of child would have me fall into a mental breakdown. And you know why I don't like children in the first place? Because communicating with them is so fucking hard, and I already struggle with other adults. There was not much else you could do since the parents are so unbelievably entitled. Their kid is not your kid, not your boyfriend's kid, and therefore none of your fucking stuff or days or whatever should be ruined because Mr. Prince from the first floor wants it. So OP comes in with her update and says, so I posted my experience with my downstairs neighbor and their child. Go and see that post for the full picture, and shares the link. I've since returned home from being cared for by my boyfriend, and the issue is somewhat, though not quite, resolved. When I got back, the first thing I saw was the child, 4 male, playing on the steps up to my apartment with his toys. Furiously, my boyfriend knocks on the door and tells the mother to stop this nonsense, and if we see any of the toys on the steps again, they will be thrown out. The child is removed, kicking and screaming. When we got back, we brought with us a lockbox for my parcels. We had a conversation with our landlord, who issued the family with a warning. Points of egress need to be kept clear, and that allowing a child to fully open my packages is indeed illegal, though hardly able to be punished. Accidents do happen, I'm aware, but they didn't happen more than 3 times. I also passed on my insurance bill to them because I refused to pay for being in an accident that was wholly preventable by them. I'm also in physical therapy for my knee and back and not paying for that either. The door leading to the stairs of my upstairs apartment has been fixed so the child cannot play there. This has upset the mother in particular, who fully said, I want to teach my child that everyone loves and accepts him. I don't love your child, I replied, something to this effect. He doesn't mean anything to me beyond the fact that he is the child of my neighbors. You don't love me, do you? You didn't even listen when I expressed concern about toys on the steps or your child throwing tantrums when I take my packages from him. I honestly couldn't believe the entitlement. The father was not happy with our responses to each other but didn't speak up. We left it at that, and later, like a few days, I'm sitting outside with my boyfriend and his child, 7th female, as they played with a frisbee. The downstairs child comes over trying to play. Boyfriend's child says no. Fair, she just wanted to play with her dad alone, and he is told to go back inside, because we're not responsible for some random 4-year-old. The kid pitches a fit, so my boyfriend goes to knock on the door to ask the mother to come get him. She insists we play with him. We insist we're not obligated to do so. The child has already hit my boyfriend's kid and she angrily shoved him over, gave him a slap back and screamed to go away, and he ruined their game. Immediately my boyfriend goes over to his child and tells the other one to go to his mum. We point blank refused to entertain this child and told them to leave us alone. If boyfriend's child was okay playing with the child downstairs, neither of us would have intervened. Still didn't though. She also shouldn't be forced to play with an aggressive and, quite frankly, vile little boy. I'm glad she slapped him actually. Since then, the child has left us alone. Now, I was wondering before this if I was the arsehole, but quite honestly, I know for a fact no one would blame my boyfriend's child for lack of emotional control. So why blame a child-free adult who has reached a limit? The situation, as explained in my original post, was weeks in the making. I've also read a few other posts about parents screaming at their children, and it's all, "You're a beautiful mama bear, don't beat yourself up. We parents are not perfect." So then, why is a child-free adult suddenly a monster for not offering some random brat endless patience? Your bitchy baby isn't entitled to anything from others, let alone free care, endless patience, when you can't even offer that. Attention and love. That's on you. Thank you to those who actually could read between the lines and didn't think I was a psycho for not enjoying childish behaviour or losing it with him. I'm going to watch my boyfriend's child draw some flowers in the front yard now. That's such a weird thing to try and teach your children, that everyone loves you. And, that they keep leaving this 4-year-old to just go wander out. What the hell? I'm probably the opposite of OP, and, kids in my family, they bring me a lot of joy, love being around them. Messing around, playing games, brings me back to my childhood. But having someone else's child constantly shoved in your face like that, I can imagine that, there was a tipping point like within this story and OP basically had enough. But what do you guys make of this story? Many people agreeing with the OP, some people saying that OP went too far with the language, etc, etc. Some people saying that, yeah, OP just hit their limit and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.